Hey guys, Matt Marzillo here. This is the second video related to pivot tables, and specifically we're going to be looking at how you can drop a chart on top of a pivot table, and it's really easy. And it's probably one of the better things about pivot tables is that once you get the table in the showing the data you want to show it, you can kind of go ahead and drop some nice visualizations off on top of it. So where we left off in the last video, we were able to kind of look at the percentage breakdown in terms of how much each hospital is contributing to spend on these items in this period of time that we're looking at, right? And we can see here, just because we know that these two hospitals are really taking a big chunk, but looking at it visually is going to be a little bit more impactful. So when you're on top of this table, you have the option, with the insert to lay a pivot chart on top of the table, right? So you're on the pivot table tab, insert here, pivot chart. Once you click on that arrow, click pivot chart, and since we're dealing with percentages, let's go with a pie chart. Let's just go with a standard pie chart that looks like that. That's sort of a preview of it. Okay, looks great. Now you have the option to go with something like this, like a 3D pie chart or a donut chart. I'm going to highly recommend you stay away from 3D charts like this or the donut chart like that. You're adding another dimension to this visualization that isn't required. It's going to throw off the eye of the folks that are looking at this visualization. Stick with 2 dimensions if that's all you need. There are some people out there that have dedicated their life to visualizing data. Ed Tufte, Stephen Few, Nathan Yao are 3 of the guys that I read up on the most, and they all agree that charts like this with the 3D pie chart are just unnecessary. They add an additional element that kind of throws the eye off. That all being said, if your boss asks you to put it in a 3D pie chart, put it in a 3D pie chart. If you know your client really likes 3D pie charts, put it in a 3D pie chart for your client. But if it's up to you, just go with the standard 2D. And if someone asks why you didn't, you can explain that there's psychology behind why you should not use a 3D pie chart. It's just better to do it this way. So, okay, I'm off my soapbox. Let's go ahead and click OK. Okay, great. We have a really nice pie chart here. Okay, so we know it's based on the sum of extended cost. We have our legend here, which is the institution. But let's click on the data and let's see if we can put the values in here. So let's right click, go to add data labels. Right, there you go, add data labels. Beautiful. Okay, perfect. And you can see Excel's smart enough to put those data labels in the spots they need to be in. Okay, so I don't like that title very much though. You can double click on that, and let's just say we want to say total spend instead of total. That just seems to make a little bit more sense, kind of drives it home. We're looking at 6 months worth of data. That's important too to tell. So we'll say total spend 6 months. Okay, great. I mean that looks fantastic. You can kind of easily see here that LGH Hospital accounts for just over 25% of the spend. CMC is the remainder 20%, and visually we can just sort of see how that eats up half this pie right here. Real great visualization. Let's go ahead and try out another type of graph on top of this. Let's go ahead and delete this. I'll just click on it, click delete. Okay, great. Now rather than looking at it by percentage, let's go back and let's remove the percentages and let's look at it based on values. So show values as no calculation. Okay. And then let's put that back into dollar format. So we're looking at currencies, number format, currency, no need for decimal places. Okay. Okay, great. And we're going to lay another chart on top of it. So go to insert tab up there, pivot chart. But instead of a pie, let's go with a column chart. And I'm going to say the same thing about column charts that I said about pie charts. Stay away from these 3D charts right here. They look fancy. It adds another dimension. Maybe it fills out your slide a little bit better. But stick with the 2-dimensional stuff if you can. Obviously, the asterisk to that comment is if your boss or your client wants a 3D chart, give them a 3D chart. But if it's up to you, stick with the 2 dimensions. It's a cleaner, efficient look that kind of focuses on the content. Okay, great. Similar thing, right? So Excel just kind of knows. We don't need a legend, right? It doesn't make sense here since every color is the same. We can highlight that, click delete, get rid of it. Again, go to the chart title, click on that, total spend, 6 months. And Excel's interface is great here because you can kind of click and manipulate it as you choose, right? So I don't really like these grid lines. It's not that complicated. Let's get rid of the grid lines. So I'm going to click on that, right click, delete the grid lines. And just like last time, I want to add some data labels. And I'd as a rule of thumb, I'd always, if you can, as long as the data is not too complex, there's too much going on, try to add data labels if you can. So add data labels. Perfect, right? So now we have this right in front of us. So we're looking, LGH spent $1.8 million on these products. CMC spent nearly $1.5 million, so on and so forth down the road. So that when we're helping our team develop their plan about how they're going to get out to certain hospitals and start driving insights, we can present this graph to the leaders and say, hey, listen, this is why we're starting with these 2 hospitals, right? This is where we're going to make the most impact. And nobody can argue with this sort of information. Okay, guys, great. That's it for my second pivot table video. Again, really powerful, really great tool. Probably the most powerful tool that we're going to cover in Microsoft Excel. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, give me a call. I'll be happy to walk you through any questions you might have. Thanks a lot, guys.